And this is Shawie. Hi, I'm Kristen, and on this channel, we talk about long-distance relationships. And on today's episode, we are gonna talk about first times. So this is the first time for Tim and Shawie to be in their long-distance relationship. And today, they're gonna debunk some myths and some preconceived notions that people have about long-distance relationships. So come on, let's go give them a call. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, it's Kristen Cares calling.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, hi, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. How are you guys? All
We're
good.
good.
All right, guys, so
Very
we're gonna start us off. Just tell us your name, age, country of origin, and country where you guys were during LDR, and some fun facts about you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll
Maybe
start.
first.
Okay,
I'll
go.
start, Tim Chua. I'll start. So, hi. In my Zoom name, it's Patricia, but you can call me Shawie. That's what everyone calls me. I'm 20 years old. I'm based in Metro Manila, and during the LDR. I was also in Metro Manila. And fun fact about me, I just graduated college.
Yeah.
Congrats. Finally.
Nice.
So, hi, I'm Tim. Just call me Tim. So, currently I'm in Metro Manila right now. So, during the LDR, I was in the UK. Then, for a brief period, I was in the US. The fun fact about me, I also just graduated.
Oh, yay.
How old are you
From-
now?
How old are you?
Tim Chua?
let's not ask questions we don't want the answers to.
He's 27.
Thanks.
Years older. How did you guys meet?
Did you
shall
ikaw
we?
na
That's the story.
magkwento?
Okay.
Ikaw na!
Okay, you start, Tim.
So in my perspective, I met Shawi before. I think it was during gymnastics. So I met her. Then, of course, me being me, uy, she's cute. So yeah, I found it. We met in gymnastics. I found her very cute. So I started talking to her, but these conversations were just like on-off conversations. Eventually, we got to texting each other over a game, Kingdom Hearts. So like I bought a game, I posted it on Facebook or Instagram. Then Shawi immediately texted me, "Hi Kuya, how was the game? How's the game? Did you finish it?" So then you can imagine that the ball just got rolling from there. We just kept on talking and talking. It lasted for months. Even if I was in Japan, we just kept on talking. Then eventually, when I came back from Japan, we had another gymnastic session together. That's when I confessed to her that I liked her.
No?
It was the day after pa!
No,
Anyway,
it was on the
I'll tell
same
my side
day.
of the story later. Ikaw na muna.
Yeah, you let him say it.
No. That was on the same day. Because I remembered I said I wanted to tell you something, but I didn't have the chance. Then Sha was like, "Oh, you want to have dinner with me?" Actually, I offered to join her in dinner. So yeah, then everything went on. Then yeah, that's how we became together.
Okay, then let's listen to Shawie's version of your story. Go ahead.
This is my side of the story. So I remember I went to gymnastics because, well, it was right after I got the accident. Anyway, I went to gymnastics. Then when I went out in the gate of LaSalle beside McDo, I saw a guy in LSDC street jacket. So I was like, sino to? Di ko naman kilala to. Because I was in LSDC street na for 2 years and I more or less know na the alumni. So, di ko to kilala. And after that, so I just went ahead. I just went to gymnastics at Rizal Memorial. Then I saw Coach Mix. Then she was with her other students. Then, ayun, I sat beside. Then I saw Kuya Tim.
Yeah.
That was when we,
Kuya?
yeah, I called him Kuya Tim. So ayun, I saw him. Tapos I called him. I was like, hey, I saw you in the gate. Blah, blah, blah. Then I said, oh, last week I got a black eye from gymnastics also. Then I kept on talking to him. Then after that, but the thing is, I knew him already before pa. Because parang before, everyone would tell me about Tim Chu, na he'd have a hedgehog. Because I also had a hedgehog. So when I told that to my teammates, they were like, oh, Kuya Tim, he also has a hedgehog. Kaso he died na. So, Oh, sad. Okay. Then after that, I remember, then
It's
also
such an
another
interesting
story
story.
din.
Yeah.
Then also another story also was that he was parang my ex rin. He knew him already. My ex was saying na, oh, there's this guy in the LSDC Street. He graduated magna cum laude engineering. Sabi ko, wow, talino naman nito. LSDC Street as magna cum laude. Tapos after that, I got to see him every once in a while around TAF. Then I remember recently around November, parang my lola passed away. It was the week of my compet. Then after that, sobrang sweet. Kasi parang after our compet, syempre all the impulse people, the alumni and the members, they all went to us. And he asked me like, hey, Shawie, how are you? Condolences pala, ganon. Then sabi ko, yeah, I'm okay, thank you. Then, thank you, Kuya Tim.
It's like a sign of respect. So, and since he's an
Yes.
alumni, she would, of course, naturally would say kuya.
Yes. Sometimes I'd say po.
Yeah,
Not sometimes. She always
yeah,
said,
po
she
or
always
opo.
says po before.
Which is
Mm-mm.
very respectful and really admirable, actually.
I know. So, ayan, parang during the compet, I said that I was okay. Then he was like, are you sure? Now, he paused. Yeah, I'm okay. Then after that, mga December, year end of 2018, parang he asked me, Shally, let me know if my gymnastics, ha? So I was like, okay, sure.
Oh, I wonder
Okay,
why.
sure, kuya.
Sure, kuya. Kuya,
Then it ended there. We never
Okay.
talked like after 3 weeks, after a month.
After the
Yeah,
gymnastics. So after that gymnastics, you guys didn't talk for 3 weeks.
No, like
Uh,
after I sent that message,
Oh, after
we
you.
didn't talk
Oh.
after.
Oh, okay. And then when you guys met in the gymnastics, he said it the day itself or the day after? That this is what I want to
Oh,
hear.
it's a long
On the
story.
day.
On the
On
day.
the day.
No,
On the day. I'm sure.
No, wait lang. My side of the story isn't done pa. So, parang after that, parang mga January kasi for Vietnam, for the Vietnam compet, we had the fundraiser show. Tapos bigla lang he messaged me. Sabi niya, Shawie, may tickets ka pa for tomorrow's show. Sabi ko, sure, kuya. Tapos, tinanong ko, what time? Ganon. Tapos, sabi ko, kuya, where do you want to meet up? Kasi I'm here actually at Archers. He condos at Archers naman. So, he said pa na, so he said, oh, it's okay, I'll just go down. So, he came to Rodix, he bought the ticket. Then after that, parang, ayun, he just left immediately. I was like, okay.
He just
At
left.
least may ticket kota na ako. At least may kota na ako.
That's what
So
matters.
at least in this story, you
That's
can
what
see that
matters.
how much effort,
Yeah.
I'm trying to put in.
I know you gave so much
No.
hints, and Shawie's probably just like, oh,
She's
he's
like,
such a nice kuya.
Yeah, that's why. Tapos after that, parang after the show, he was saying, but Shawie, just want to say, sobrang ganda ng moments mo. Sobrang,
Whoa.
I like your group a lot, ganon. Good luck, ganon. I was
So you
like,
didn't
okay,
even get
thanks,
any hint
kuya.
from that?
Ganon.
You didn't get any hint from that?
No. Tapos parang,
sadly, no.
I remember, this is the game part na, how we actually started. So,
Wait,
I was
can I
on the...
drop a small input?
Yeah, you
Trivia.
can drop small
They
hints.
had two shows that they had two shows. I watched both just so I could see her.
Oh,
But no,
that's
she
a lot
was
of money.
no. I mean, alumni perks. I just
Oh
went
yeah,
there.
yeah. So you can just go in. But that's
Ano ba yan?
shows to watch. That's effort.
Syempre.
Like whatever. You're an alumni. You're supposed to do that.
Oo nga.
Moving on.
Okay, next story.
Okay, moving on. So, I think it was on a Wednesday. I remember it, they brought out the game on Wednesday. Tapos the next day, I had a 2-hour break. So, I took a grab going to Robinsons, Manila, just to go to Data Blitz and buy Kingdom Hearts 3. Then, I was in the grab already. So, syempre, very millennial. I was going through Facebook. Then, when I
You're not a
opened the
millennial.
first thing I saw when I opened my Facebook was Tim Chu's post about Kingdom Hearts 3. Then I was like, oh my god, he plays pala. So I messaged him, Kuya, how's Kingdom Hearts 3? Because I really love the game. As in,
Right.
sobrang childhood ko siya.
Yeah.
So, ayan. I also messaged yung other alumni rin eh.
So not
Just so you know.
So you're just one of them. So you
Yeah.
met in gym and then you got together through a game. Much
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, then we started talking. Then Partly about life also, because I was kind of stressed with a lot of things for that term. It was compets and ACADS, everything. So, very college,
Very college
college life.
vibes. Yeah. All right. So now that you guys
College
met, maybe you guys can say a brief story how you guys actually became a couple, and then we're gonna go into how long you guys were into your long distance. So just start by telling us how you guys actually became a couple.
He asked
Mm,
me after we
yeah.
watched the movie. What
Mhm.
movie was that? Shazam.
How to train? No,
Hindi!
no. Shazam?
Shazam! At SM Sukat, parang we were on the way down to the parking because you were like,
Okay, wait. This is a very funny story. So
Okay.
for the sake of this conversation, yeah, we were watching Shazam. Then Shawi on the way down, I already had plans to ask her to be my girlfriend officially.
Mhm.
Shawi decided it was a very good idea to joke around. Like, oh, next thing I know, you will ask me to be your girlfriend. And I was like, are you?
what? What?
I
How
was
did
like,
you know?
yes, yes. So will you be my girlfriend?
So
Okay.
you just said
Then
yes.
Shawi was overwhelmed. What? What?
So you didn't actually get to ask because she asked you
Yeah, she
first,
predicted it.
and then you're like yes.
Technically, she asked me.
Yeah. But you were
Hoy,
planning it.
hindi
You were planning
naman.
it. That's what
Yeah, I
matters.
was standing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, so now that you were together, tell us how it was as a first time, or actually when you guys found out that you were gonna get separated country wise.
He told me actually, like when we were just talking, he just said, parang it was around, before he made amen, he was just telling me na,
made Amin.
he's fixing his masters, then he's going to UK. Sabi ko, wow, galing mo naman. Yung umamin siya, sabi ko, oh my God, pumunta ka UK, diba?
You're leaving, right? Why do this to me?
Ba't ka ba umamin?
So,
So
like,
Ayun.
when you guys found that out, what were your first initial impressions? Like, uh-oh, we're gonna be separated. What'd you guys
we
feel?
had a we had a very serious talk. Like,
Okay, tell us about that.
so actually, after a few dinners together, I brought it up again. We talked that okay, I was scheduled to go to around this time. It was around April. I was scheduled to go to the UK in September.
Mhm.
So I told Shawi, okay, I'm gonna be in UK at this time. It's gonna be probably a 7 to 8 hour with time difference between the both of us. So we really had we really talked it out that this is what's gonna happen, and we need to lay down some rules or guidelines for the both of us.
Right.
So I honestly don't remember the details, but yeah, that's generally what we did. We had a long talk about it just to set everything into perspective. And I assured Shawi that this is just gonna be a year. That I'm gonna come back a,
Mhm.
a year after, which by God's grace I did
Yeah,
with the conditions right now.
so like
Mm.
when that happened, what did you initially feel, Shawi? Because you're the receiving end of the person leaving.
Honestly, it was, well, at first when we had when we had a few dinners together, I felt like, hello, I'm gonna miss this. And when it was like near the end na, but then generally, I honestly I was thinking that it's like my dad, because my dad is an OFW naman, so I'm kind of used to LDRs,
Right.
even if it's just my dad, I'm used to it already. And with the technology naman,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was okay for me. Then I even assured them na it's okay na you're not here because I have friends naman.
I'm
You have a
like a
mutual friend
life.
naman. You have my sister also, my mom, diba?
Yeah.
Ayan.
So how long were you guys dating for before you guys separated?
Few months.
Just a few months,
Like,
like
yeah, we became official around April.
six,
6
April, May,
months.
June,
6 months,
July.
and then separated. Oh,
Yep.
that's pretty
Yes.
quick, guys. Yeah, usually like you'd see couples who have been together for a while and then they separate. But that's pretty quick. How was that? Like adjusting, seeing the person all the time and then suddenly they're gone?
Shall we start?
Kasi I dropped him off sa airport. Like, kami ng sister ko and our friend. Then after that, parang I was walking to my mom na, then parang I was telling them na, I think it will be okay. Parang it's not as sad as I thought naman. So, yeah, that's all I can say. Parang I knew it wasn't, I already knew when I dropped him off the airport na it wasn't gonna be as challenging, or it's not, kaya yan. Yun.
Yeah.
It's just really yours. Kaya yan.
Tim.
I also wanted to add that as the side of the one
Leave.
flying away,
Yeah.
leaving, it was also hard for me because I'm leaving everything, not everything, but well, she's my everything, behind there. So it was very uneasy for me.
Uh-huh.
So like, yeah, it was very uneasy for me, and I just wanted to say that.
Right.
So yeah, that's one perspective that's very uneasy for us. Regarding to you asked about how we coped, right? How we
Yeah.
coped with this. So we started with, like, we were once I was in the UK, Shawi graciously gave me a few days to rest, to recover and fix my body clock over there. Then we started to make a schedule. Like, okay, by this time to this time, we'll have video calls. It was new and weird at the same time.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, because we were so used to having dinners together, seeing each other every night.
Right.
And next thing you know, hello, hello, you hear me? Hello.
Choppy. Choppy. Would you guys say that having that sit down talk to prepare about leaving, like mentally preparing yourselves and actually having that mature conversation about what's gonna happen in the future help keep your or maintain your long distance relationship a little bit better than if you guys chose not to talk about it? Like would it have been different if you guys didn't sit down and talk?
For me, yes and no. So, middle, 50-50 ako dyan. Because I think it's a good idea that he already brought it up in the beginning of our relationship. It's not like in the middle of like a long relationship that he brought it up. So I think I already set my expectations early, which is good. And I think it was also in between, during our LDR relationship, we'd always remind each other. We'd always talk about it na kahit may COVID dyan, uuwi ka dito, don't worry. Ganon. Uuwi ka. Ganon.
What about
And I
Tim?
think it was to our advantage na we were, I mean, relatively fresh or relatively new into this relationship. So, because if established na yung relationship namin, I think it would have been more difficult versus if we were just fresh together. Because
Right.
we have already a set routine together and stuff like that. It will be very difficult to break that. So at least since we were newly a couple at the start, we already knew this is gonna happen, and we need to get used to it. And I guess we had a like a preempt or like an initial start to
Yeah.
an initial jump start to this LDR relationship.
Yeah, it's like you're preparing both your minds and your hearts na okay, we're gonna be separated for a year and we have to do something about it.
Also, I just wanted to note that what Shawi did whenever because we had frequent talks regarding this LDR, that it was very helpful that Shawi kept on assuring.
Yeah.
She kept on giving me assurance that okay, this is gonna be okay. I am okay with this setup because I felt so uneasy with it. I'm okay with this. It's gonna be okay. It's just gonna be 1 year, so we'll just deal with that soon.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
very helpful when one or both of the partners are very supportive, especially for the one who's leaving. Like the one leaving is always feeling some, like heavy burden when they leave.
Mhm.
So the person who is being left, like I think it's just natural that they would support the person leaving. Especially like I really respect the fact that she allowed you some days to recover and to just adapt, because some couples won't have that in their heads. They'll just say I miss this person and I gotta talk to them now. But what she did was she let you live and she let you adjust. And then when you were ready, you guys talked. And she just set aside her emotions, missing you at that time, to just allow you to, get used to what you have, which I think is very good because sometimes we don't know those things. And if people will be reminded or be given an advice to let their partners do their thing before putting your selfish, emotions and sacrificing some time or sacrificing some personal feelings that you have for that person, because I think that means a lot. So we're gonna move on, guys. Next, we're gonna be debunking some of the notion or concepts that people have about LDR, because I know that you guys might have had some assumptions going into it. What were some of the assumptions you had prior to your LDR? And when you were in LDR, did they change, or were you like, oh, I didn't know that this is this or this is that? Because a lot of people will ask, what's it like to be in an LDR? And I'm scared because usually what people say is that it doesn't work. So can you guys take us through your assumptions? What happened? Did they change? And yeah, let's do that. Go ahead.
Well, first, I think the first thing about LDR is that normally people say LDR doesn't work. Then the second one and the third one, it's UK exclusive because people would tell me na, oh, my mom mas maganda naman sa UK. Tapos my mom mas matangkad rin naman. So baka he'd find a girl there. And I was like, oh,
He's 4'9", by the way. 4'11".
so ayun, I think those were my assumptions, honestly. Na, hala, baka he'd find a better girl there. And I knew I was already in my last year in college. So last year in college with thesis, OJT, and other majors. So it was very hectic for me. And I was worried that maybe I won't have time for him.
Mhm.
But then, it broke. The myth broke because apparently I did have a lot of time. In 24 hours, 8 hours sleep, plus 2 hours with him. Sometimes when I go to school, I call him pa. So we have a lot of time together.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And,
Tim.
I'm still prettier.
Of course.
Diba?
The right
Tim. Tim, go
gentlemen, the right answer to that is yes.
ahead.
Anyways, with what Shawi said, she mentioned that every time she goes to school, when she drives to school, actually, we would be on call. Then that's around, because there's an 8-hour time difference between us. So usually by then I'm already in bed. So it was convenient. So, okay, going to the assumptions. I mean, leading that is that LDR entails a lot of sacrifices. That's what I first thought. It's going to be challenging. There's going to be so many sacrifices. And then they were like, it was very challenging. First, the time difference was very challenging. Like, I think we were just blessed that there was an 8-hour time difference. So like, when I'm asleep, she's awake. Then we have the 2-hour window to talk with each other. Then when I'm actually asleep, she'd do her stuff. Then
Yeah.
when she's asleep, I do my stuff. So
Mhm.
it was convenient. Then, but to set that schedule and to actually maintain that, okay, this time it's gonna be for her, regardless if I'm busy or not. This is for her. That honestly was extra challenging in my end
Mhm.
because I had so many deadlines coming in. That's one of them. And in line with that, I had to sacrifice, for example, because there would be times wherein, of course, I mean, if one of us would have an emotional breakdown, we should be there for each other.
Right.
So there would be days that I couldn't sleep or I wouldn't be able to sleep because we were talking, we were trying to fix whatever was happening, what's going on.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was very challenging. I can say that it will entail a lot of sacrifice, but I can say it's really worth it.
That's so nice. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, that's really a common misunderstanding that people have about long distance relationship. They think that it's too much work. Like they haven't even tried it and they think that it's too much work. That's why they just choose not to do it. But like if they just get themselves in there and try, I think it'll be fine because I think people are putting too much pressure on themselves when it comes to LDRs. And that's why they say, I'm just not gonna do it because I know it's hard and it's not gonna work. We're gonna end up breaking up anyway. But that's not always the case. As long as both parties are willing to, like what you said, sacrifice and to put in the time. I think there are some non negotiables, like you guys discussed.
Definitely.
Yeah, the time and the scheduling, I think that's non-negotiable because you guys need to set that up right from the start. Like, what's your schedule? What's my schedule? Let's meet halfway and let's compromise. And let's tell each other when we can't be there, or if we can be there fully and intentionally. I think that's what's important. So, okay, now that we're into this topic, you guys, it's your first time. So, comparing it to your previous relationships, which were non-LDRs, how is it different? Like, I guess you guys can weigh out the pros and cons. Like, what were the pros and what were the cons of being in a distance compared to your close proximity relationships like you had?
Yeah, you mentioned that proximity. That's a very huge. Apparently, that's a very huge factor in relationships. So before, I could always go. I had the freedom, the luxury to go out, spend time with a significant other or with my family, and yeah, that's a massive plus to the relationship, proximity, and the time together. Because my love language is time.
Right.
So spending time with and actually being there physically with someone actually motivates me, and it really hits me differently
Mm-hmm.
versus if I was talking to someone over the phone or in the video call. So I think in my previous relationship, proximity was the the pro there. Like that's one thing. Then I guess adjusting to a more digitalized approach. I mean, I was forced to adapt
Mm-hmm.
into this new thing because I'm an introvert and it's not easy for me to have calls or video calls. At least this in this time, I mean, I was forced to adapt, and yeah, I guess that's I would consider that as a pro because that's character development.
Right.
Shall we?
Shall we?
Oh, it's me already. I thought you were gonna add.
What I'm thinking.
Okay, sige. So, well, aside from what Tim Chu said, right, I also, same rin as what he said, just to add, I think it's also, well, aside from time, I guess the physical, it's really the physical presence. Because for my past relationship, most of them, I think I had an injury, or like I got, but I always get to the ER. I don't know why I get rushed to the ER. But in, yeah, let's just say I get rushed to the ER. Then after that, parang at least there's someone who can accompany me to the ER.
Right.
And at least, ano, but then unlike if it's LDR, like, if I get injured, how am I gonna go to the hospital? How am I gonna go to school? Or if I don't feel well and people think that I got, ano, if I got the virus, then I have no one to talk to or be there with. And if there are times na because of the different time, because of the time difference, I spammed him through with everything. With all that I'm going through, sabi ko, okay, Tim Chu, I'm going home. Okay, Tim Chu, pinaalis ako ng school. Sabi nila na I have to come back. I have to go to the hospital muna. Okay, Tim Chu, I can't do this. And, oh my God, I'm so stressed. Ganon. Ayun.
Then I
So,
wake up to all
napapagod
these
lang.
messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, he waits up to them. Just like, wait lang.
Wait, I'm
Sabaw.
processing.
So what were the pros in having a long distance now?
I think for me, I think we just trust each other more. Because knowing that we're not there to see what each other is doing. I think it's really trust and honest. At least we trust each other more and we're more honest with each other. Because sometimes in screens, I think that maybe it looks like that we're sad, but it doesn't look like sa kanya kasi baka pangit yung video call quality namin, ganon. Or baka I'm just good at hiding. So, it's just really speaking out there and being honest. I think that's one of the pros.
Mm-hmm.
At least we don't need to hide. We're more forced to just bring it out.
Say it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then to add to that, actually, that's a very good point by Shawi. We really got, you know, we really put in front that we have to be honest with each other. If something is wrong, we need to let each other know. Then we need to fix it. Like we have that drive, we have that motivation to do it because it's our relationship on the line. Comparing now, compared to how it was before, while we were still in, I mean, separated. Wow. Um, I feel I could say 95% with full confidence. I can say that we really trust each other more now compared to before. We
Right.
learn to trust each other. We learn to be open and honest with each other. And to add, we've also learned since we've been always video calling, we've learned to actually listen to
Mm.
one another. Like it's different that I say something, I just keep on talking. Then the other side, you just listening. Then it will enter in one ear, then exit in the other.
Right.
We really learned how to listen to each other and also try to learn to listen deeper, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wherein we try to understand understand what's the feeling behind the messages one of us are say. So yeah, I think those are the skills that you learn after this LDR experience.
An LDR actually makes you a better person. You know what I mean? Like it hones and enhances those skills that you won't usually think of when you're together with a person physically or they're close to you. And
Yes.
being apart
Mhm.
allows you to take a step back and say, okay, I need to learn how to communicate better. I need to tell this person how I feel without them having to just look at me because they can't see me. All we have is communication, and we have to focus on how we can better communicate to the person so that they will understand, because no one knows how to, predict the mind of the other person. Like in an LDR, all you have is the screen and your communication. That's it. So, like, being put in that challenge allows a couple, I think, to go deeper in their relationship and understand each other better. And, like you said, have that better trust. Thank you for that. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to your next question. What were some of the other struggles you guys encountered as a first timer in your LDR that you wanted to bring up today that we didn't talk about, and how were you guys able to overcome them?
I really don't like it because there are people who really think na I told him already and he has told me also that there are people who assume na we're not together because we don't post. But then how are we gonna post when we're not together, diba?
Right.
And, I mean, I'm okay to, I don't like sharing also our screenshots of her. I mean, honestly, I'm not the type to really post
Right.
about personal life. I really don't like posting. Or if I have to, yung mga Valentine's, anniversaries. But then that's really it. I just don't like how people can assume that we're not together just because we're not posting on social media. But how are we gonna post when we're not together?
Right.
And I know maybe some people expect a lot of like screenshots of our video calls when we post, but we're not like that. As in, honestly, I end up just sleeping in all our talks.
There will be times like I keep on talking. I was sharing with them. I mean, I'm in the middle of sharing my day, and she was like, "Ah."
It does happen.
So in my head, I just take a screenshot. Now you were sleeping. This is how you look like when you were sleeping.
Technology is actually, I don't know. I know a lot of people don't like how technology isn't really like genuine. I don't know if but then there are people that think old school pa rin. But then I'm thankful pa rin for the technology nowadays because I think our LDR would have been more challenging if it weren't for Google Meets, Google Hangouts, Telegram, all the online shenanigans.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I contributed to shall we struggle on people assuming that we're not together.
Why? What happened?
I'm not a social media person, so like I'm hands off with everything. So like if I post on Instagram, that's like in a year I could just post like five things in a year. In Twitter, I used to be active in Twitter, then became a bit toxic, so I put that away. Facebook, I was never active in Facebook, so I think I contributed to that. Why? Oh, are they still together? I don't see any updates from any of them.
Yeah, that's the only struggle because yeah, you're apart. How are you supposed to take pictures? And then in our world today where it's very digitalized, people do expect to see some life experiences and happening, especially with love lives. People like that tea, you know what I mean? so so it's hard when you're a social media introvert because what are you gonna
Yeah,
post?
like,
You don't want to. And it's hard when people assume it's like we're still together. That's between us. It doesn't really matter
yeah,
what people say.
exactly.
Yeah.
Also,
How did you guys
to add,
overcome that fact that people were assuming?
I just didn't care. So like I would tell Shawi like, okay, let's just let them be. If they want to assume, let them assume. And we both know it's not true. We both know that we're together. We're still strong.
Mhm.
If they want to assume that, if they want to assume it that way, but okay, let it be. But I don't think it did sit. It sat well with Shawi because
Yeah.
Feel shell.
I would no because there would be guys chasing after her
Oh, you
because they
wouldn't feel
thought we
good
were not.
about that either.
Yeah, I think Shawi can tell the story on this part.
Right, go, Shawi, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know, honestly. I mean, I'm very clueless all the time. So, listen, when
Yeah,
Tim Chu was already making moves, I'm already clueless.
Yeah, you
So,
were.
I don't think
it took a game for you to notice me.
So, ayan, I mean, it doesn't really affect me because, syempre, honestly, in school, what I do, I always talk to him. So, look, I don't really talk to other people in school because I'd always spam him messages. But then, I don't like it also when people assume that. As in, I'm super affected by it. I'm just like, why do I need to post my relationship? I feel like it's too private for me. It's something private and not something I can too publicly share. You
Right.
know? Yeah, I was kind of tempted. I was gonna post Animal Crossing post. Then after that, I said, Tim, should my caption be for those who think that we're not together? Guess what? We're together pa rin. I wanted to post that, but then
Yeah, I
then
stopped
super
her.
nainis Yeah, he stopped me. So, ayan, I just took the bigger road and just
Yeah,
ignored
'cause
them.
Yeah, just
I
take the higher
explained
road.
it to her. Yeah,
Yeah.
I explained it to her that it's not worth it. I mean, this is not. This is like, let's say, a battle or an issue that's not worth spending your energy to. Like, you have other things to work on. Like this time, I think she was doing her thesis and OGT,
Oh,
and she
they
was
had a
doing
lot.
thesis alone. So
Yeah.
she had a lot on her plate. So that's why I
Yeah.
kept on saying, forget about it. You have other things to worry about. I personally don't care.
Yeah, Tim, actually I was gonna ask you something about that. Being that your partner it was in college, did you have any struggles with like feeling some insecurities about her meeting other guys? Because I mean she has a lot of she's gonna meet a lot of guys in college and you're at work. You probably won't meet so many girls because it's work and you know you don't really meet a lot of people at work much. But she's in college and everyone's there. How was that for you? And also
Okay.
LDR on top of that.
So actually, I went to UK for masters. So I pursued a master's degree also in the
Oh, you were
UK.
also in
So
school. Oh, okay, never mind.
yeah, but it's the thing is, in engineering, in the Philippine setting, and apparently in the UK, in engineering, there's no girls.
Oh, yeah, all guys.
So okay, I mean, just to put it out there.
Yeah.
I honestly struggled. Like I had some moments na
Mhm.
nagtatampo ako sa kanya
Right.
na I said I'm not comfortable with you approaching this guy. I'm not comfortable that he is being too friendly with you. I don't like, or like I also mentioned that because there were two guys, three, no, two guys. Also, like I told her that I'm not comfortable that she's approaching this, let's say, guy A, but
Mm-hmm.
there are situations that she needs to approach
Yeah.
this guy because they're blockmates. They have
Right.
deadlines together. They work together. Then this other guy, let's say guy B, told her that I don't like the idea that she kinds of looks up to him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I felt that, I mean, me being selfish, hey, that should be me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I made that known to her. Like I made sure that she knows that I'm uncomfortable
Uncomfortable.
with these two
Yeah.
people. And Shawi being Shawi, well, for guy A, she would say she would tease me about it. Hey, I'm talking to guy A. Because a bit of context, because at this point I mean in this phase we were very comfortable that she assured me enough that it's never gonna
Okay.
happen with guy A. Like
Right.
zero chance, never
Yeah.
gonna happen. So one thing with Shao and I is that we, whenever we have, let's say, fights, or actually, which I wanted to bring up, actually
Yes,
fights,
go ahead.
one big struggle. I'll put that on the side.
Later, yeah.
So whenever we had fights or we had misunderstandings, like the next day we would tease each other about it. Like, hey, I'm with guy A. How do you feel? and, and honestly, we're okay with it. Like that's how much she has assured me that
Right.
okay, there's never gonna be anything. So don't worry about it. And me, I just have to put my emotions away and actually trust her. And she has never like gave me any reason to not trust her, or like did not betray that trust.
Mm-hmm.
Kim Chu, you're
Because
making me look so bad.
we'll go to you naman after.
Okay, see, fine. To be fair to her, there was, because we were three people, three Lasalians who were sent to UK. Then there are times that I wouldn't talk to her because I was playing with these people. Like we were playing games, and yeah, basically I wouldn't notice her. Then say, hey, what are you doing here? I'm playing. Then I wouldn't talk to her for the whole night. Then in the next morning, she'd be very mad at me. So that, to be fair for her, then I would tease her that, hey, I'm playing. Like, oh, why are you playing? Kidding. So which brings me to my next point of one of the struggles that I find challenging is the how to manage fights,
Mm-hmm.
because in a relationship there will be fights. There will be fights.
Mm-hmm.
There's like two sides of the coin. There are people who say they don't want to have fights or conflicts because for them that's a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
For me, fights are part of the relationship. It's part of life. There will always be conflict. There are things that we won't see eye to eye, and how to manage that, especially in LDR setting, that was extra challenging for us. Just tip, I guess, to all the viewers out there. We set a rule, and our number one rule was whenever we have fights. One is that first rule: if it gets too much, we stop, cool
Mm-hmm.
down, then take it again the next day. Second rule is we will never talk about breakup while we're in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
If our heads are hot, then we will never talk about breakups. So I think those two rules really helped us a lot.
I think that's really gonna help the viewers too, because we don't know those things and people don't really list down, oh, these are your rules, you know what I mean? Because different relationships have different struggles of their own. But I think just someone speaking it and saying that they have set rules and showed examples, I think would help the people watching this, especially for those who are watching that are discouraged right now or are going through struggles in their own relationships, especially if it's their first time. I think this will be really, really helpful for them. So thank you for that. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our almost last question, which is, what are some of the tips and advices that you guys can give to couples who are in their long distance relationship for the first time, and some word of advices or some just wisdom that you learned or picked up along the way, and how can you help them or edify them today and inspire them for the future? Go ahead.
I think my first tip is set a schedule. Well, be more or just really schedule properly, manage your time. Because I think one thing Tim Chu and I have in common is we're very ma-agenda. As in, when we start our day, we always give our agenda of the day, our schedule of the week, and everything. So I think, I know, very street, no? So I think we're used to really scheduling and really managing our time. And like, for example, if it's Tim Chu time, if it's like Shawie and Tim Chu time, and then Shawie and Tim Chu time. But then if there are times like when he was in the States, then we readjust. Really just managing your time. And yun, honesty talaga. I think thankful ako sa LDR na to kasi I wouldn't know if I'd be honest if we didn't LDR.
That's
Yeah.
thank you, Shawi. I really like what you said, how your LDR actually helped you be able to trust him better, and time management is really
Dapat lang.
very important. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Tim, go ahead. What's yours?
I think I have three. Anyway, so first is, in line with setting a schedule, is that you follow that schedule. You actually follow that schedule.
Yes.
Respect the time. Respect the time you have for each other. Respect that, okay, this person has set a certain amount of time for me, and she's making herself free for that moment. I should respect that and do the same.
Mhm.
Next is, try not, as much as possible. It's very difficult, easier said than done. Try not to assume, or
Mhm.
try not to put your feelings over logical thinking. For example, Shawi has never given me any reasons to, or Shawi has never did anything that betrays my trust to her. There are days that I would feel that maybe Shawi's doing something or
Mhm.
something like that. I mean, that's just my own insecurity. So that
Yeah.
everyone should try to see things as logical as possible. Like, they never give you a reason to doubt. Why should you doubt?
Yeah, I wanna add while you're
Yes,
waiting,
Shao, go
while you're
ahead.
thinking. I think also distance doesn't matter talaga as long as the person matters. Because honestly, if we even when he came back here in the Philippines, like we don't really call each other 24/7. We call each other mga 10 o'clock onwards. So it's more or less the same of our setup when he was in the UK. I'm not sure if we're just sanay, but if you want it to happen, make it happen.
Yeah. If you want it to happen, make it happen. Do the work, right?
There's this saying, right, in our country: if may gusto, may paraan. Gawa ng paraan.
Yeah. If
I
ayaw,
think you can translate
may
that.
dahilan.
If ayaw, may dahilan.
Exactly.
Be extra patient and understanding with each other. You are placed in a situation that is very different from other relationships. So it requires actually, from the both of you, more patience and more understanding towards each other. I mean, it's LDR. Misunderstandings are more prone to happen because you're just talking video call or
Mhm.
just phone call.
Right.
So be extra patient. Whenever someone says something that's off, like, try to ask for more context. Last
Yeah,
one.
there's
Last
more.
one.
Go ahead.
In line with that, being patient and understanding. Don't be afraid to actually ask what you want or what you feel that you need. For example, Shawi would always let me know she needs time. She wants more time because I often neglect her because I'm playing or I'm doing something.
Uh-oh.
So so she would always, hey, I want more time. Say, great. That's why I know that we need to respect the schedule. Because I was playing, but be open to finding that middle ground, because that's what Shawi and I always do. We always find that middle ground wherein I can compromise and give her this. She can compromise and give me this. Where at the end of the day, it meets both of our needs in this relationship.
Wow, that's amazing. My biggest takeaway was the fact that you had to follow through whatever you guys had said.
Yep.
And also being able to vocalize what you have inside your heart or in your mind. Because if you don't know how to communicate that, then it'll be hard for your person to understand you better. And I think it will also allow you to discover more about yourself. And when you're vocalizing yourself, you're actually telling yourself, oh, this is actually what I like, and I didn't know that I liked this before, and now I do. And so the biggest part of LDR is also self-discovery, and I think that's why it's also beautiful in a way.
Definitely.
Yeah, so
Mm-mm. Yeah.
that's why I think people are generally more they say that their relationship is stronger because of the distance that they went through. That's what I hear usually from couples, and I think that's why, because of the deep connection that they have. And so guys, before we finish, please tell them some words of inspiration and something that they can go by and remember when they're having some hard times.
Love always wins. Yun
Yeah.
lang. Love conquers all. What's yours na?
I love you.
Love you too.
Yes.
Kilig siya.
Always remember why you're in this relationship. You're in this for long term. You're in this for life. Always remember that and have hope that there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you guys so much for your inspiration. Now that we're gonna end, please tell the people here that are watching how they can follow you or something that you want to promote. Please let them know your social media handles and where they can find you. Go ahead.
You can follow me on Instagram at Shao Serrano.
Yes, I will
Okay.
leave her link down below in the description box so that you guys can just click on it and you're gonna head straight there.
And you can follow my cats, Shawie.cat. If you want to follow my art account, Shawie.art.
You can find me in her social media accounts.
Yes.
What about you? Do you have anything?
I guess just look forward to it. Timo 3D Lab coming soon near you.
Coming soon near you. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna also leave Tim's business handle down there in the description in case you're interested in looking at some of the things that he makes and Shawie's art as well and her cats. Thank you guys so much for joining us today in our show. We really appreciate it and we learned so much from the both of you. This was such an amazing learning experience for me as well. Even if I've been through an LDR, I learned a lot from what you guys have said. So thank you. And yeah, you guys, so this is it for our episode. And as always, I will see you later. If you are someone who is in their long distance relationship for the very first time, I hope that this video was able to give you some encouragement. And if you find value in this show, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell for more long distance relationship topics. On our next episode, we are going to interview a couple who found real love through Tinder. If that's something that you want to see, stick around and I'll see you over on that next episode.
Hello?
Hi guys!
Hello, Ate Kristen.